everybody, and welcome back to UKG 2024. I'm over here at the Monte Cook stand with Kate to talk about a plethora of games, some of which are multi-award winning. A couple I've been really fascinated since they appeared on Kickstarter to see, like the Appalachian game, because that just looked absolutely superb. But where to start? Where do you want to start?
This is our second time at the show. Very, very happy to be here. We're actually sponsoring the Children's Role-Playing Zone, and that's with No Thank You Evil. It's specifically for children. It's been play-tested by children, and it is a perennial bestseller for all of our retailers. It's a game that can be played if you're 5 to 15. All of the characters are there for you. It's very, very simple to play, and the only complaint we get about this game is that families want to play it together with their kids, and then one day they come back and the kids are running it for their mates, and you're like, do you want a hand, Johnny? And they're like, no, we got this, Ma. It's cool.
That's what you want to see, though. Get them in at a young age and have a game that they can just take ownership of themselves, where they're not worried about needing an adult on hand to play, that they can just start introducing their friends to a whole new hobby for them.
Very much so, and it's massively collaborative as a game. So you set them a goal. Say it's a goal of 3, they've got to roll 3 or more on a 6-sided dice, and the thing with that is if they help each other, you ease the difficulty. So now it's maybe 2. If someone is really good at something, they might spend a point of smarts or a point of fast to make it easier. Every time they make it easier to do it, and then they roll the dice. So it's massively collaborative storytelling.
Also teaches them valuable life skills like friendship, and it's okay to ask for help, which can't be underestimated. That 2 award-winning games next, though, and 2 very different-looking games as well.
Yeah, so we are super excited to have won the Judges' Best Accessory Award and the Judges' Best Role-Playing Game Award. Massive kudos. We are so very pleased. Our team of designers are amazing, and it's absolutely wonderful when things like this happen, because it's everyone saying, hey, this stuff you made, wicked cool. So the weird is exactly that. It's another word for interesting. You want it to be whimsical, you want it to be interesting, do you want it absolutely gonzo? We've got weird in here. There's over 10,000 different ways of making any campaign weirder, cooler, more interesting. You want weird clothing? We got it. You want weird excuses? We got it. Weird bars, weird rituals, weird space stations. Just pick it up. It's also really astonishingly pretty, and a wonderful nightmare because there are over 200 fonts in this thing. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, you can roll on things, or you can just pick stuff. And we've had a number of people who've gone through this and got lost, and their other half has come around and got them back again and said, look, we'll just come and buy it tomorrow. So yes, very happy with that. That's the weird.
Well, the weird, I'm a sucker for any random table, and anytime I get told I can choose or roll, it's always roll. And then you generally end up with something so bizarre you would never have thought of it yourself. And often they're the more interesting characters to play, because somebody who sits there and goes, I'm going to min-max my stats and be the best barbarian ever, and you're going, that's interesting. I'm a barbarian who's a little bit terrible at everything. Low con, low strength. Why have I got that way? How am I still a barbarian? Start telling the tale from there, and being able to go in and just start plucking out weird and wonderful stuff to add a bit of a pastiche to things is always good fun, because we often start off thinking we're Excalibur, but we often end up playing Monty Python the Holy Grail. So dropping a bit of weird in is always good. But this magnificent beast, from the moment I seen this on Kickstarter, I was in love. What is going on with the Appalachians? So
this is a wonderful collaboration with Old Gods of Appalachia podcast. Now, they're an award-winning podcast, and with them we've now produced a UK Games Expo award-winning game. The whole idea of this is it's 1930s American folklore and horror. And the thing about that is that in the UK, folklore, well, it's Irish, it's Welsh, it's German, it's French, but this is a wonderful mix of everyone coming together in the Appalachian Mountains, which are over 120 million years old. They've in fact got shorter since the Earth was created, right? And the conceit is there are weird and spooky things stuck down in the dark, and we've started to mine those things. And so some of the gold miners are coming up, and they're not quite the same as before. Or people will tell you about the man that stands at the crossroads in the mine, and he might give you a coin, and it's blackened, and your life will be better if you take the coin. But when you do and he calls you, you have to come running because your O is due. So then you have to decide what's important to you. What will you do for your family? What will you do for fame? What will you do for fortune? What will you do to defend what's yours? So that's everything in the dark. And then you've got the green, because we're pushing that back, and that's all the natural world and things, except you need the green to be on side for your crops to grow and for your animals to do well and your family to do well. And then the third set of that is humans, because we're building railroads through the mountains and around the things, and all of these are about what's it worth to you? Where are you on this? It's absolutely amazing, and we have a backer kit coming up probably the end of the summer with another part to this, so super excited. I can't tell you any more about this right now. I've been told not to, but I would like to. So yeah.
Yeah, that is terrible, because that's going to really upset me now for the rest of the weekend, and I'm just going to be in tears. My mascara will run, I'll be a mess. But this, because I'm a big Cthulhu fan, when I seen that first advertised, it was like, well, it has that Elder God feel. And then anybody who's anybody who's seen American Gods or read the book by Neil Gaiman, where all of the settlers come across from various countries and bring their folklore and folktales with them, and you wonder how much of it is something that was there before or how much of it was created by the humans who arrived. And in some cases that may be up to your party and the GM in themselves to play off that and really explore that area, which is always good fun. I see you have a few other bits and pieces there. What other things can people see from you, and where can they find you this weekend?
So we are sponsoring the children's role-playing section in Hall 2, and we are also have a stand at 752 in Hall 1. So it's 1752 Monte Cook Games. What you can see here are zero prep role-playing games. Now, at this point, most people say, yeah, sure, zero prep. They are. So at the end, you've got Stealing Stories for the Devil. This is a futuristic heist game. It's played in 3 parts. It's very much about yes and the only person who really needs to know is the person who's running the game. It helps if you guys have read the rules, but we know you don't have enough time. The whole idea is everyone starts trying to play this heist in that cool Ocean's 11, 007 leverage, that kind of thing. It becomes the Muppet movie really, really quickly, right? And that's still just as much fun. The first scene is you and the narrator sit down together and you make the heist. This is the thing you have to steal. This is the place you have to steal it from. Go. And you're like, well, here's how I do it, and here's how you do it. And every time you say yes, and. When you're happy with the plan, the person who's running the game will go away and think about ways of making players' lives more interesting. The second half is playing in that scene and going through all those plans, and there's lots of twists that get played, and that whole thing of like, what happens next? Security guard wasn't where they were supposed to. It's sharks with lasers on their heads. However gonzo you're going with it. And then you have the turn, and this is where the other shoe drops. So the thing that you were going after is not where you thought it was, or is completely different, or is a different thing altogether. And that's the last section, and at each point you up the ante and it gets more and more frenetic. And you can either play it in about 3 to 4 hours, or you can play it over sort of 3 sessions, depending on how you do it. Zero prep role-playing game. You've got a whole ton of architectural plans. They are architecturally accurate, because if they're not, nerds will be angry, and we don't want that. And my boss originally was a trained architect, so that all works. And it's glorious. It's my favourite game at the moment, which is wonderful. So.
Well, I'm a big fan of things like Reservoir Dogs, and that idea of the planning phase, the execution, and then it all going horribly wrong just appeals to me in every way, shape and form. A fantastic look at just a fraction of what Monte Cook have to offer here at the Expo. You can check them out online if you can't make it to the Expo, but if you can, definitely pop by their stand and see what you can pick up, because there's so much that will work for so many different games, or maybe inspire you to start a whole new one. We're going to see what else there is to offer at the Expo. Bye-bye.